I'm Julie in Willowtree, and I have some crazy stories. This Sunday we did go to the Wim Hof method in Simply Be, and they are a community that live together and they organize some spiritual and amazing stuff. And this weekend they decided to do like the Wim Hof method. First to breath exercise, then jump into the pool, in the natural pool that they have. There was like ice on the water, and then afterwards there would be like a singing bowl sound session. So I was looking forward for it, but I was like having some resistance to the ice water because I am used to like cold water baths, doing that at home, like swim in cold water, but I never have like really swim in ice water. So tot straks. He's going downstairs with Daddy. But yeah, I was getting ready that morning, and I hope you can see me well. So every time I have to get ready to get there somewhere on time, I'm very stressed. Also, I don't have driver's license, so my husband have to bring me. The 3 kids need to get ready too then, because they can't stay at home alone. So getting everyone ready and then being there on time sometimes be like, I'm always the last to arrive. I'm always late. Like that's a little bit who I am. I always like they say like people that are always late are like optimistic people because they think they have the time, they have enough time, and then at the end they have to rush somewhere. So like I'm that kind of person. So I rushed outside, and then I saw my phone was almost like the battery flat. So I run back inside, take the key with me, and write down a phone number so that I maybe can use someone else's phone when I'm there, to call my husband to come and get me. So I write down the phone number, run outside, and my husband is like, and the key? And I was like, oh no, I forgot the key. But I look into my how do you call it, like, this is from my camera, but like my bag, you see sacoche, to see if my key is in there, because normally I always have a key in there. But now I did not have a key in there. I put it on like the hook for the keys. So I realized we did put ourselves outside of the house and can't get in. I was thinking like, oh no, I'm going to be late, or maybe I'm not going to get there, and oh, how are we going to get inside? The kids are in the car, but they have their tablet, they are playing in the car in the tablet. So they didn't even notice what was going on. So my husband jumps over the fence. And we have like a back door behind me. You cannot get in. So like that's a very strong door. You can try to get in, but like you're not, just like the glass is so thick. Like if you would try to like open, trying to clatter the glass, like you would break your hand. Like that's a very strong door. But I hear him like pam, and he's not getting in. So I'm like, oh no, what can I do? What can I do? And yeah, we have to figure out how to break into our own house. And I'm now revealing like how to get into our house. Like, don't put this on the internet, but yeah. So you can actually not get into our garden unless you are like he did climb over the fence, but it still is like, the glass is hard, the doors are strong. You cannot just get in, and we have a dog too. So I was like, oh my god, isn't there a window open? But yeah, you never leave a window open when you're gone. So no. And then I was trying to get into the garden. I wanted to climb in, but it's like so high. I was so scared that I would fall into the stones on my face, so I didn't dare to. Also, like, I don't have scared of heights, but I have a scare of deeps. So that's deeps. So I was scared and I didn't dare to jump and like break my legs or get onto my face in the stones. Our dog was freaking out about what was happening. She was like, "What are you doing?" She was like, so I decided, like, the garden of our neighbors is completely open, so you can walk into it. So I walked into the garden and run into the back of our garden, and then you have a train running by. That place is full of like prickly, like it hurts, like it's like rose steps, like how, I don't know the name for it, but like there are plants with like sticky needles out of it. So, and it's full of it. So if you walk around after our garden, like you can pretty hurt yourself. So I just run through it, try to walk over it, but you just can't, like you stick in it like everywhere, and I have like scratches on my legs of it. Really hurts. And then I had like the key was on the like we have a little place where you can get in the garden. But you will have to need a key to get in. So I opened that door and then got in the garden. Now we have a dog door. Grown-ups don't normally get through that. So you really have to be very thin or a child. So I squeezed myself and I did hurt myself trying to squeeze it. It's like a little door for dogs. So I was squeezing myself in to get inside. It took a while to get in, a lot of bruises. And luckily it was open, because normally when we leave like the door on it, so that like the dog is outside, so you can get in. But now luckily I did left that one open, so I did got in eventually. And then the garage door also has a key on it, and like I knew I closed it on the other side, so I knew I had to break the door. So after punching it a few times, I just broke the door. And it was better to break that door than our outside door, because we are going to change our doors. Because before we are moving here, we want to repair certain things. And I know that those doors here in the house downstairs are like old, and like the locks are all a little bit off in the inside. So I knew that door, if I would like punch it hard a few times, it eventually would break through, because the wood is like so old, like it was like. So I got in, got the key, run outside. My husband cannot crawl in into a dog door, like he's too big. And he's not a big person, so like, I was lucky. I know my kids can crawl in, but I did not know if I could, and it was very small. I really had to like squeeze myself in it. So yeah, but I was happy that I actually got the key. Then my phone was like out of battery. So before my phone was out of battery, I sent it like, I'm going to be later. They sent it a message back, but I could not see it because my phone died. They sent it that we had to drive to another street so that we could get into the backside of that house. And I have been there a few times, so I know the front part of the house, but I did not know like the backside of the house, how you can get in. So, and the front of their drive-through was like, their house is like standing there, then you have like a part where you can drive on it, and then you have the forest, and it's very muddy. It was like a tractor or like like some machines have drive through it and there was something going on. Like, and I just walked through the mud. Like I was like, okay, I've run through like the prickly plants, I can walk through mud. And I started belling the door, but nobody opened. It was like the bell didn't work either. And I was standing there and standing there. I was like, oh my god, I'm already late. They're waiting for me, blah, 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 blah. And then 2 people walked out of the forest. My guitar playing. Whoa, I hear those things. 2 people walked out of the forest and I asked, like, do you live here? Do you know how I can get in? And they were like, oh no, we don't live here. We just are walking through. And like, it's a big house. We live in community. It's a big house. And the woman said to me, like, why do rich people always have like needing big houses? And being very judgmental. And I was like, they are a community. They are now rich. They live together and rent this house together. And she was like, oh. Yeah, but before they lived there must be a rich person that lived here. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, and what are you doing here? What are you going to do here? And I explained. I didn't go into detail because she was already like so judgmental. Like I was like, oh, just some meditation. And she was like, oh, such an alternative thing. Why do people always have to do so weird stuff? Literally, like, oh my god, I was like, I did not know how to react to it. I was like, what the hell is happening? What for a crazy day is this? So I started just walking on the street and see if there was like a street on the back, and there was. And I was like, oh, I realized I was going to get there. Like I was getting tears in my eyes. I could cry. I could literally cry because normally when things happen like this, like I back off. I was thinking about like but I could not let my husband know something. So, but I was thinking about like maybe I just leave. Maybe I just find a way to call my husband and get home again. But I didn't. Normally I would. So I feel like the universe was testing me if I was brave enough, strong enough to push through a hard situation, probably to get me ready for the ice water, but also for greater things in life, because maybe there are things coming my way where I have to learn to push through and get through it. So yeah, then I got inside. I was so stressed, I was so embarrassed. They had to wait so long for me. And they waited for me. Like when I sent that my message, I said like, if you want to start, just start. But they waited. I think I was 20 minutes late. And they were sitting there in the circle, and they were like, it's like a get to know circle. Like let us talk a little bit and introduce ourselves. When I introduced myself, I really felt like, look, this morning, this is what happened. I told them, and I said them like, it was like the universe bringing things to my way. Like I felt resistance towards the ice water, and it was like the universe, okay, make your day worse so that you get ready. When the ice water comes, you'll be like, okay, this is nothing compared to what already happened. And I really felt that way. When I was standing before the ice water, I was like, I jumped in, like, no doubt, just my full body in the water. And it felt amazing, it felt great. And I really felt like the universe was like, bam, 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 giving me some things that happen to like work through and get through them, and don't choose fear, and be brave, and see that things always can get worse if you feel fear and resistance. Like it always can be worse. So yeah, we did a breath exercise. My body shaked, all stress out. I jumped into the water twice, and then we did like the singing bowl circle, and I connected with the women out there and the men, and connected with some people that maybe we can work with for the sacred fairy garden and the homeschooling projects that are about to come. So I was so grateful that I stick through and didn't choose fear over bravery. So this is one of those stories that just happened. But I decided to tell another story too. And I know I'm probably already talking a lot, but I didn't want to do 2 separate videos on storytelling. So this summer we did go to a fun park with the kids called the Efteling in the Netherlands. And because it's a little bit farther from our home, we always decide to go to the hotel and sleep there, and then go home the next day. So this time we did that again. We did go to the hotel, and then we did some beautiful light shows, and I have some footage of that. The light show, we did go home, and we had an amazing day in the fun park, and in the evening the light shows, and then we did go to our rooms. In the hotel there was not an available room for our whole family, so we had 2 separate rooms. Me and the youngest one, because he always sleeps next to me, pulling my hair, doing like this and then falling asleep. And my husband slept with the other 2 kids in another room, so that there was an adult with the kids. So we fell asleep after a fun day, and then in the night I hear some noises. And I was like, did my husband come in? What is he doing? And I fell asleep a little again. I kept hearing noises. It kept waking me up. I was like, watched the clock. It was like 4 o'clock in the night. I hear something in the bathroom. So I open my eyes to see what my husband is doing. And there was a mirror in front of the door of the bathroom, so you can see who's coming out. So I see someone coming out. You already hear me say someone. It was not my husband. I see like another figure coming out in front of the mirror. And he walked out of the bathroom into my room. And your first reaction is like, you're scared, you're... And I started saying like, what are you doing here? He was like in his underwear. He was wearing nothing. Like that was so scary. So he walked into the room, and I said like, get out of my room, get out of my room. And he was like, shh, shh, shh. And I was like, get out of my room. And he was coming closer and closer. Instead of leaving my room, he came closer. So I started panicking. So I started looking around me if I had like a lamp or something to hit him with, and I didn't. So I said to him like, if you come closer, if you don't leave my room, I will start yelling. And he keeps coming closer and saying like, shh, he keeps coming closer. So I start like, my son is sleeping next to me. He doesn't wake up, like he's asleep deep. I start yelling. The man put his hand on my face, like I could not breathe, like his hand was on my nose and my face. He squeezed me into the pillow. I shake myself out. I could do my face like this so I could breathe on the other side, and then I take, just without thinking, like I just grab his balls. Yes, this is a real story. I grab his balls and start squeezing hard until he lets go. Yes, this really happened this summer. And then I let go. He steps to the window and just started looking at the window. Now, what I noticed also was like his breath. Ugh. He was wasted. He drank alcohol. And I know I attract this situation because like my stepdad was an alcoholic. He physically and mentally really abused me. I lived in a lot of fear there. So I know those things happen to you because the trauma isn't healed yet, and the universe wants you to go through this so that it can awaken something in you, so that you can shake it off and heal from those wounds. And like I lived like 6 years there in a lot of fear. I remember myself as a child breathing like this when he came into the room, holding my breath, feeling suffocated. My camera batteries died, so I need to reload it a little bit. But I don't know where it ended, but I was talking about like those things you attract because like there are some traumas that need to be healed. I have been through like trauma by someone that mentally and physically abused me while he was drunk, and like having a drunk in my room doing this was so scary. So I was laying there. Another thing that I didn't told was I was naked underneath my I don't know how it's called, like, you know, what you lay upon you when you sleep. So I was naked underneath. So, and my son was still asleep next to me. My phone was in the bathroom. So I was like, okay, I need to call my husband. I'm going to continue on my phone because my battery keeps dying and I cannot reload it as fast as I wish to. So where was I? I needed to call my husband. My phone was in the bathroom and I was lying naked under the blanket, that's how it's called. And my son sleeps next to me. I didn't want to leave my son alone with that guy in the room, but he was standing in front of the window, watching outside. I'm out of breath from the stairs. So this was just one thing I could do, run for my phone. I take the blanket around me so that he does not see me naked. Oh, another thing, when he was like up on me with his hands, the thoughts that came in mind, okay, I'm going to get killed or raped. Like that's a very scary thought to go through as a woman. So, blanket around me. I felt so bad to have to leave my child, but I could not wake him up. He was asleep and I didn't want to freak him out or scare him. So I run for my phone and start calling. And I'm watching my son behind the corner start calling, and the man sees that I'm calling. My husband does not pick up. He sees that I'm calling, he runs out of the room. So I started sending like message, like come to my room, help, this is for real, like come here, like please come here. And he's like, he thought there was something going on with our child. So my husband runs into the room, like looks at our child. He's still asleep. He's safe. He's fine. And I'm like telling him what happened. And he was like, is this for real? Like, is this real? And while he looked into the hallway, the man is still walking around in his underwear. So he believed me, of course. He would not lie about those crazy things. And he took him and he did not, my husband is not violent, so he would not punch or hit someone. But he taked him and brought him out of the hallway and into another hallway where the stairs are to go downstairs. And my husband first came and looked if I was okay, and then did go downstairs and told like the hotel, like, this man that got into the room of my wife. I don't know how this happened because our doors are locked. You need a card to get into the room, and every card is separate from other doors, so normally you cannot get in. How this man got in with his card, I have no idea, because I'm sure our door was closed. It was not standing open. It was closed, so it was very strange what happened. So it was a weird kind of events happening and bringing us to that point. Like it lined up. He lined up to my trauma, I think, of my childhood, and I lined up for him probably. Also, he was Polish, so he did not speak Dutch. That's why he came probably closer. He was very drunk. I don't think it was his intention to come into my room, and when you tumble into someone else's room, just leave the room instead of scaring them even more, because that was a very scary experience. I was in shock. I was shaking. I don't have footage, of course. You don't start filming when things are happening. But I have put on the camera right after it all happened. I was shaking, and when my husband already came in, so I can show you this. Afterwards, like we did the next morning, I did not really sleep very well anymore. We put chairs in front of our doors. We were like scared. I could not sleep anymore. I was so tired next morning. So we had planned to go to a zoo for the kids, but we didn't go anymore. We had like our tickets already paid, but we were like, okay, we are going home. And after that happened, a few days later, I wanted to take a walk with the kids in the dark, because I love taking walks when it's dark. But this time I was scared, I was jumpy, and when people came out of the door, I jumped up, was looking back. An older man came out, because it was an older man where it happened with, came out of his house. I was so scared, so I did go home right away. Yeah, I needed to walk the dog, so that's why I did go and take a walk and took the kids with me, but I did not feel safe, and it took a while. I also don't want to go to hotels anymore after that happened, so I only want to go to cottage or like a tiny house or somewhere in the forest or somewhere, not like a hotel anymore. Like I don't know, I don't feel safe in hotels anymore. So yeah, those were our two crazy stories. You probably don't even believe because they're so crazy. But I really wanted to share this with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. And if you have some crazy stories, let me know in the comments because I like to read some crazy stories too. So bye. Mwah.